My name is Joe. These are just opinions. Welcome to the 25 best songs from 1992. All these songs are in a playlist, plus another additional 100 songs from the year. What I try to do is no repeats from the same album on this list of 25 best songs. Try to spread the love out a little bit. Number 25, the 25 best songs of 1992, I'm going with Weird Al Yankovic, You Don't Love Me Anymore. John Bermuda Schwartz, Steve J, Jim West, Weird Al Yankovic. Check out my Weird Al episodes on this channel. I learned a lot about music from Weird Al Yankovic. Proud of it. Their album Off the Deep End. And that's one where they had the Nirvana parody with Weird Al swimming in a bathing in the pool on the cover. I think this one's poking a little bit of fun at extremes more than words. Number 24 comes from Fish. Probably my favorite Fish track from A Picture of Nectar, their 1992 album. I'm going with Chalk Dust Torture, rockin' track from Trey Anastasia and the Boys. I've seen it a few times on Hockey Night in Canada, things like that, sports productions. Maybe it's Sportsnet here in Canada. Number 23, also a Canadian, Katie Lang. I'm going with her track Constant Craving. And this is from her album Ingenue. She's, Katie Lang, very, very popular here in Canada, especially eclectic, sort of folky, country. Great album, Katie Lang. Number 23, the opposite of Katie Lang, comes from Pantera. My favorite track off of Vulgar, Display of Power, is This Love. So that's one that kind of mixes the soft and the loud from Phil Anzamelo. Vinnie Paul, Rex Brown, and Dimebag Darrell, rest in peace, Dimebag. Pantera, one of the greatest thrash metal bands, stoner metal. In between Metallica and Clutch, in the middle you find Pantera. Number 21, I'm going with Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day, off of his album The Predator. And a great rapper and a cool dude, and all the respect in the world to Ice Cube. And I love NWA, and I do love some Ice Cube songs like this one. Today Was a Good Day is one of his best songs, in my opinion. Number 20, I'm going with House of Pain, and then I'm going with my favorite song on the album, which is Shamrocks and Shenanigans. Boom, shalak lock, boom. The album has a ton of bangers on it, but I like Shamrocks and Shenanigans. The House of Pain is an effect, y'all. Number 19, I'm going with Grand Puba. The song is 360 What Goes Around from Grand Puba. The album is Real to Real, and I'm a big fan of Brand Nubian when Puba was in the group. Very thoughtful. He can be pretty gangsta at times. I like him more than Ice Cube. Okay, number 18, and this song comes from a couple of legends as well, Eric B. and R.E.M, and the song is Don't Sweat the Technique. Producing legend Eric B, rap legend icon, in the top 10 kind of conversation, and some people's number one. R.E.M, Don't Sweat the Technique. Crazy collaboration with these two masterminds. Straight up, some of the best. Number 17 comes from Blind Melon, the song No Rain, the big hit. Rest in peace, Shannon Hoon, who died a few years later after their next album, Soup. Shannon Hoon and Axl Rose are close friends. Shannon Hoon sang on Use Your Illusion albums, Don't Cry, I believe, and maybe a couple others. Blind Melon, Soup, and their self-titled album are chock full of great tracks. And I wasn't ready for it, I don't think, when I was a kid. I did own this album, I bought it, but I remember just mostly listening to No Rain. And number 16, I'm going with Arrested Development, the song People Every Day. Everyday People is Sly and the Family Stone classic. And this album kind of came out of nowhere, and they're kind of one-hit wonders, or one-album wonders. I think pretty sure they won Album of the Year for this. And these guys are from Georgia, Atlanta. Just some thought-provoking hip-hop with some funk and jazz sort of soul backing tracks. I love the lyrics. Todd Thomas's moniker is Speech. Tennessee and Mr. Wendell were three huge hits on the album. Go with People Every Day. There's a couple different versions of this song. There's one that's a bit more upbeat that I like more. Number 15, going with Canadian legend Neil Young. The song is Harvest Moon from 1992. First time I remember hearing this was in a movie called The Pallbearer. Gwyneth Paltrow and Ross from Friends. David, great soundtrack too. Got a lot of music from that soundtrack. Harvest Moon. The song's called Harvest Moon, and the album was called Harvest Moon. And originally, Harvest was his big one in the early 70s. This album, Harvest Moon, though, is probably his best album of the 90s. Another living legend at number 14. The song I'm going with is My Bird Performs from XTC. This is off their album Non-Such that featured Peter Pumpkinhead. Peter Pumpkinhead, the XTC version, is one of my favorite songs. And My Bird Performs, the whole first 10 songs on this album are incredible. XTC. Number 13, I'm going with Ween, Dean and Gene Ween, from 1992 is Sarah, Jeaner's then girlfriend, later wife. What an incredibly beautiful track, and just one of the prettiest studio track in Ween's discography. Sarah finished high on my top 100 Ween songs on this channel, so check that out. Number 12 comes from Sublime. The song I'm going with is Bad Fish. Bradley Nowell, Eric Wilson, and Bud Go. A ska, skater rock, reggae, Caribbean influenced LA punk thing that is Sublime. And Bad Fish, one of their best songs. If I were to do a Sublime countdown, I'm sure that this finishes top 3. Gets stuck in your head, sing along with it all day long. Great work tunes, and 40 Ounces of Freedom. Start to finish, all kinds of fun. Many parties, many great times in the summer spent listening to Sublime. Thanks to my buddy Ian for getting me onto Sublime. It must have been a mixed CD, but Sublime. Bad Fish. Number 11, we're going with Stone Temple Pilots' Sex Type Thing. This is off of their debut album, Core, and Scott Whalen, Dean DeLeo, Robert DeLeo, and Eric Kretz. These guys are going toe-to-toe with the greats of the era. To me, they're kind of a grunge band. Or rest in peace to Scott Whalen, and the first couple albums are friggin' incredible. Non-stop rockers, Stone Temple Pilots. Sex Type Thing. Number 10, I'm going with The Cure's Friday, I'm in Love. The greatest Cure song of all time. How do I know that? I listened to every Cure album last year. There's an episode on this channel where I rank all the Cure albums. This was the song that I was most familiar with going into that deep dive, like way more familiar with than anything else The Cure. And it's still my favorite Cure song after listening to all of their albums. And it's not even close. They found some magic with this. I couldn't figure it out because I'm like, why do they sound, to me, they sound a step above all the rest of their stuff on this track. I heard that they actually did speed up the vocals. They changed the vocals somewhat. Everything about it sounds great. Everything going on in the background of this entire track, atmospheric. It's incredible. It all comes together. For Friday, I'm in Love. For me anyways. Don't kill me. Watch my episode on The Cure. I was honest. I listened to everything. And this is still my favorite Cure song of all time. Number 9 comes from R.E.M. Also episodes on this channel for R.E.M. Number 9, best song of 1992. I'm going with Night Swimming. That's from Automatic for the People. That's my favorite song on the album. Chock full of great songs featured on this channel. So many great songs over the years. So many great albums over the years. I want to say they're from Athens, Georgia. They're from somewhere down south there, or maybe Atlanta. Bill Berry, Mike Mills, Peter Buck, and Michael Stipe. Night Swimming. Number 8 comes from Peter Gabriel for the album Us, and the song is Steam. Peter Gabriel has one of the best natural tones of any singer in music that I've ever heard. Up there with like Nina Simone. Up there with these people that they've just got a different element to their voice that always complements the song, but also sounds incredibly authentic every time. I don't know how to describe it. Peter Gabriel, incredible musician, composer, singer. Got to start with Genesis as the singer, then went off into his own and made a series of elite albums. Every time he comes to the table, love it. His album last year was incredible. I even love the live albums that he did with the orchestras and the whole thing, his live shows, those DVDs. Peter Gabriel, for me, I'm going with Steam off the album Us from 1992. Number 7, seventh best song in 1992, comes from the Black Crowes from their second album, The Southern Harmony and Musical Companion. The song I'm going with is Sting Me. One of my favorite Black Crowes songs of all time. Probably, if I were to rank the records, my favorite Crowes album. Sting Me is the opening track on this album. Sting Me is where it grabs you. It doesn't let go for the entire album. Mark Ford, when he is in the Black Crowes, is incredible. Mark Ford featured on many other albums later on. And what the world needs more of is Mark Ford, because when he's involved, it rips. Number 6, we're going with the Beastie Boys, So What You Want. This is off of their third album. This is off their third album, Check Your Head, from 1992. I'm pretty sure they produced this album. And so they did the first album with Def Jam. Rick Rubin was basically their DJ at that point. And then they bounced from Def Jam, did their own thing. Their first album, Paul's Boutique, was with the Dust Brothers. Incredible. Dust Brothers are also on Beck's Odelay. A lot of my favorite stuff. Young MCs, Bust a Move. And then they went 1992 and 1994 with Ill Communication. They did their own thing. Lots of punk rap, lots of punk rock. They started as a punk band in New York. So What You Want, this is the anthem off the album. It's incredibly unique. There's nothing else that sounds like it before or since. I'd love to see somebody else make this song. You can't do it. And these guys did do it, and it sounds fantastic every time. It's like, so much respect to the Beastie Boys. I did get to see them live once. There are episodes on this channel about the Beastie Boys. Mad respect for Mike D, Ad Rock, and Adam Yout, MC8. Number 5, I'm going with the Bare Naked Ladies, Canadians, and their song Enid. This is the first song I remember hearing. Actually, no. If I had $1 million, it's the first song I remember hearing from the album Gordon, which I believe is a tribute or a nod to Gordon Lightfoot, another Canadian legend that we lost in the last couple of years here, 2 years ago, I think. But this album obviously had a ton of great songs on it. I actually have a Bare Naked Ladies episode on this channel. I do like quite a few Bare Naked Ladies tracks. I do like Enid the most off of this album from 1992's Gordon. Smart lyrics, fun, excellent recording. At this point, new band, incredibly exciting. But Bare Naked Ladies, Enid, number 5. Number 4, I'm going with Screaming Trees, and the song is Nearly Lost You, from their 1992 album. That's Mark Lanigan on vocals, Gary Lee Conner on guitar, Vaughn Connor on bass, and Barrett Martin on drums. Of course, recorded in Seattle, Lanigan's grunge royalty. The song Nearly Lost You became a bit of a hit for them. And number 4, Screaming Trees, Nearly Lost You. Number 3, I'm going with Rage Against the Machine from their debut album, 1992 self-titled album. And a song I'm going to take is Take the Power Back. Zach De La Roca, Tim Comerford, Brad Wilk, and Tommy Morello on guitar. One of my favorite albums growing up. And there was a time when, if you asked me who my favorite group was, I would have said Rage Against the Machine and Beck. Early or mid 90s ish. My older sister and my best friend's older sister both got this album the same time ish, back 1992, I guess. I thought it was 91, but 92. And there were lots of swear words on it. We were too young to listen to it. It became super cool before we even understood how great it was, just because it had lots of swearing. And many times my buddy Ian's, he had a pool and we bring the speakers out and listen to Rage's debut album, probably the most, I'm guessing, or one of the most listened to albums of my childhood would be Rage Against the Machine's debut album, Take the Power Back. Teacher stands in front of the class, the lesson plan you can't recall, the student's eyes don't perceive the lies, bouncing off every fucking wall. Number 2, going with the Tragically Hip, Canadian Legends, and their song Locked in the Trunk of a Car off of Fully Completely. Considered by many to be the Tragically Hip's greatest album. Certainly one of my favorite Hip songs. I love the whole album, so picking a song off the album is difficult. Lead singer Gord Downey had terminal brain tumor, and they did one last tour across the country. There's documentaries about it on Amazon Prime. And their last show was broadcast across Canada. I believe there was close to 11 million viewers watching their last concert live in 2016. Broke their routine for their encores. They did a third encore, which they don't normally do, their last show. And one of the songs they pulled out, totally out of routine for the entire tour, because I watched and listened to the entire tour on Periscope and got to go to a show. But one of the song they broke it with was Locked in the Trunk of a Car. And I'm so glad they did. I couldn't believe they were not playing that song where it belonged in the set list on their final show. And then they did. And I was like, okay, all is right in the universe. Shout out to Jordan Venn, who released an album called Magic Words this last year. And there's a tribute song to Gord Downey on there as well. So Jordan Venn's album is called Magic Words. And it actually landed in my top 25 for albums of 2024. Tragically Hip, Locked in the Trunk of a Car, song number 2. And song number 1, I need to say that these are not in any order because they can all go in any spot. And I'm just picking one song from each album. But song number 1, Alison Chains, and I'm picking Angry Chair from the album Dirt. That's Lane Staley, Jerry Cantrell, Mike Inez, and Sean Kinney, I believe, is on this one on drums. And I loved Alison Chains at this point more than Nirvana in 1992. Once again, from this album, you can pick a lot of songs. Dirt's chock full of them. I'm going with Angry Chair because I think it's the best song from 1992. So like, comment, subscribe. 25 top albums from 1992 on Horizon here. Check out all my other episodes. Scroll down on the channel. Check out the playlist for 1992. All of these songs are on my playlist for 1992. Playlists tab on my channel, Joepinionated. That's at my friend Joe on YouTube. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me which ones I screwed up. Tell me what I said that was stupid. Let's argue a bit, but I'd love to talk to you more about it in the comments below. I'm sorry I'm a little low on facts, high on opinions. We out.